Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started.
Jacob Fatu sent an interesting two-word message on social media, reacting to the official WWE 2K25 launch trailer. He also tagged Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. The launch trailer for WWE 2K25 features several top WWE superstars, including Fatu, who is seen alongside Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa. OG Bloodline member Paul Heyman is one of the key aspects of the trailer, alongside Reigns. Taking to his FKA Twitter account, the Samoan Werewolf reacted to the official launch trailer of the video game. Interestingly enough, he tagged Reigns and Heyman in his two-word post after feuding with the OG Bloodline in 2024. Last year, Fatu played a crucial role in taking Heyman out. The Wiseman was powerbombed through the commentary desk by the Bloodline and took a huge splash from the top rope, courtesy of the Samoan Werewolf. Paul Heyman opened up about being taken out by the Bloodline. Paul Heyman played a crucial role in the Bloodline vs. OG Bloodline storyline. He discussed the segment where he was taken out by Solo Sikoa and others. If he, Solo Sikoa, just spiked me, and then Jacob Fatu splashed me, that's everybody. But taking somebody who is obviously pushing 60 and out of shape like I am, taking someone who shouldn't go through that table, and violently putting me through that table, and those guys knew I want to go, this has to be violent. This has to be shocking. You got to sit there and go, someone is going to save him, right? It's what the story calls for. Upon returning to TV, Heyman revealed CM Punk as the fifth man of the OG Bloodline team for their War Games match against the Bloodline. Reigns, Punk, the Usos, and Sami Zayn walked out victorious at Survivor Series, War Games. Jacob Fatu had spent years watching from the shadows, admiring Roman Reigns rise to the top of WWE, knowing that his time would eventually come. The Samoan dynasty, a bloodline forged in the fire of generations, was more than just family, it was a legacy, a force to be reckoned with. Jacob had seen Roman's reign as the tribal chief, but he'd also seen the cracks, the tension within the ranks, especially when it came to the family members who dared to defy him. But now, Jacob was ready. He had been carving his own path for years, stepping away from the predictable confines of his heritage, creating his own story. The time for subtlety was over. The time for a statement had arrived. The message came as a surprise, a simple two-word text. It wasn't the length of the message that would raise eyebrows, it was who it was directed to. Jacob Fatu, the enforcer who was rarely seen outside of his own circle, had just sent a chillingly blunt note to Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. Ready. Chief. Roman Reigns was sitting in his private locker room, the soft hum of the fluorescent lights providing a strange calm amidst the chaos of the arena. He was reviewing his upcoming match with a focus that only the tribal chief could possess. His fingers drummed lightly against his phone, flicking through notifications. Among the messages and emails, one stood out. It was from an unfamiliar number, with the name Jacob Fatu attached to it. Roman's eyes narrowed. Ready. Chief. The words were simple, but they carried weight. The tone was a mix of confidence and challenge. Jacob had never been one to hide behind messages. Every time Roman had seen him, the young enforcer had been a mountain of intensity. Jacob Fatu had the blood of the Samoan dynasty running through his veins, the same blood that connected Roman to the legacy he had claimed as his own. But that legacy wasn't one to share lightly. Roman's mind raced, memories flooding his thoughts. He had seen Jacob's rise, seen the raw power and the potential, but Roman had never truly acknowledged him. Roman had built his empire with trust, with loyalty, and above all, respect. Jacob's abrupt message felt like a challenge to that respect, to the very foundation of Roman's reign. He glanced up at the door, hearing a soft knock. It was Paul Heyman, his wise, ever-watchful advisor, the one person who had been by his side since the very beginning. Roman, Paul said, stepping into the room, his brow furrowed as he saw the look on Roman's face. Something's on your mind. What's troubling you? Roman held up the phone. Jacob Fatu. He just texted me. Ready. Chief. Paul studied the message for a moment, his fingers tapping on his chin. Jacob Fatu. The enforcer from the islands. Interesting choice of words. Roman's eyes flicked to Paul. He's got the blood. The lineage. He thinks he's ready, but does he know what it truly means to lead this family? Paul smiled, a dangerous gleam in his eye. Roman, you've built this empire. You've earned this position. But be mindful. You know as well as I do, family can be a double-edged sword. If Jacob Fatu is indeed ready, he's a force to be reckoned with. Roman sat back in his chair, contemplating the message. Paul was right. There was no telling what Jacob's intentions truly were. Roman had built his dominance, but the bloodline was a delicate balance, one that could shift at any given moment. Could Jacob truly challenge Roman's authority? Could he somehow claim the role of the tribal chief? Roman knew that within their family, strength was the currency. But trust was what solidified power. Roman's thoughts were interrupted by the sound of his phone buzzing again. This time, it was an Instagram post, tagged by none other than Jacob Fatu himself. Roman's eyes darted to the screen, and there it was, a black and white image of a Samoan war god, his fists raised to the heavens. The post was a statement in itself, a declaration of war, perhaps, or a claim to the throne. And, just below it, Jacob had tagged Roman and Paul. A reminder that he knew who to go to. Paul leaned in, inspecting the post. A calculated move. Bold. Roman didn't say anything at first. His gaze remained fixed on the screen as he processed the message. Then, slowly, he began typing, crafting a response that would serve as both a warning and a challenge. Not yet, Jacob. But soon. If you think you're ready for this, be careful what you wish for. He hit send and handed the phone to Paul. Make sure this message gets through. We'll see where this goes. Back in his own locker room, Jacob Fatu leaned against the wall, a smirk on his face as he awaited Roman's response. The silence of the arena around him felt like the calm before a storm, and he knew he was walking a fine line. But this wasn't about proving he was better than Roman. This was about proving he was capable of carrying the mantle of the family, of not just following in Roman's footsteps, but blazing his own trail. Jacob had been in the shadows long enough. He had watched Roman claim his role as tribal chief, but there was something that bothered him. Roman ruled with an iron fist, but Jacob had a different vision. He wasn't here to replace Roman, but to offer an alternative, a partnership. His phone buzzed again, signaling Roman's response. Jacob read it, his smirk widening as he typed his own message. Soon. We'll see who the true chief is. Jacob Fatu wasn't just ready for a challenge. He was ready to lead, in his own way, on his own terms. Later that night, as the lights of the arena flickered on and the crowd roared with anticipation, Roman Reigns walked out to the ring, his presence commanding the attention of everyone in the building. He raised the Universal Championship high above his head, the weight of the title matching the weight of the expectations that followed him. But in the back, Jacob Fatu was watching, his eyes burning with a fire that could not be extinguished. Tonight, he would make it clear that the Samoan dynasty was big enough for more than one chief. And soon, everyone would know exactly who was ready. And it all started with a two-word message. Ready. Chief.